the next lesson in Unit 2 Polynomials. We're going to be going over the third factoring technique, which is factoring trinomials. So this method is only for 3 terms. And I've got about 7 problems to go over. So let's take a look at example 1. The directions will say factor. I've got x squared plus 7x plus 10. So in all of these problems, the first thing you should be looking for is a GCF. There is no GCF. So what we're going to do is list the factor pairs of the first and last term. So that's this term here and this term here. So if I factor x squared, it's x and x. If I list the factors of 10, I'm going to have 1 and 10 and 2 and 5. Now I'm going to take these factor pairs and take the sum. I'm going to add them. Add. 1 plus 10 is 11, 2 plus 5 is 7. I'm looking for that 7. I'm looking for one of these sums to match that middle term. Once I find that, the factor pair that gave me that sum, that's the factor pair I'm going to work with. So I'm going to take one of those x's and put it with the 2, and then take the other x and put it with the 5. And they're both plus because they're both positive. Positive 2 and positive 5. Number 2. Let's try another positive. I've got a squared plus 11a plus 24. I'm going to list the factor pairs of a squared. Well, there's only one. That's a and a. I've got 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. I'm going to take the sum that's giving us 25, 14, 11, and 10. I'm trying to find the sum that matches that middle term that's right here. This is the factor pair I'm going to be working with. I'm going to take one of the a's, put it with the positive 3, take the other a, and put it with the positive 8. So that's the first type of trinomial when they're both positive factors that we're listing. So let's take a look at number 3. I've got y squared minus 8y plus 15. So this next trinomial, the last number is positive, the middle number is negative. So when I list my factor pairs for this, I've got 1, 15, 3, and 5. Now when I take the sum, I'm getting 16 and 8. But I'm looking for a negative 8. Well, you've got to be careful here. When the last number is negative, when the last number is a positive and the middle number is a negative, they're all negatives. So that makes this negative 16, that makes this negative 8. That's what I'm looking for. Here's the factor pair. So I'm going to have y minus 3 and y minus 5. Y minus 3 and y minus 5. Let's do another one like that one. Number 4, I've got c squared minus 7c plus 12. So c squared minus 7c plus 12. This becomes c and c. Because the last number is positive, the middle number is negative, they're all negative. So I've got negative 1, negative 12, negative 2, negative 6, negative 3, negative 4. Let's take the sum. I'm getting negative 13, negative 8, negative 7. So I've got c minus 3 and c minus 4. C minus 3 and c minus 4. So we've taken a look at two problems where they're both positive. We've done two problems where they're both negative. Now the next group of problems we're going to do, if we take a look at number 5, I've got x squared plus 4x minus 21. So now the last number is negative. When the last number is a negative, I'm listing, it could be 1, negative 21. It could be negative 121. It could be 3, negative 7. It could be negative 3, 7. So for each factor pair, you're actually listing two options. When I take the sum, I'm getting negative 20, 20, negative 4, 4, and I'm looking for that middle number, which is a positive 4. So I've got x minus 3 and x plus 7. So when the last number is a negative, it's 1 negative, 1 positive. 1 negative and 1 positive. Let's take a look at number 6. I've got x squared minus x minus 30. I've got x and x here. Because this, when the last number is negative, it really doesn't matter what the middle one is. It doesn't matter. It's going to be 1 positive, 1 negative. Now this one, we've got quite a few options here. And then we've got negative 5, 6, 5, negative 6. Let's take the sum. I've got 29, negative 29, 13, negative 13, 7, negative 7, 1, negative 1. It just so happened it was my very last option here. This negative 1 matches this negative 1. So this is the factor pair I'm going to be working with right here. I've got x plus 5 and x minus 6. X plus 5. Let's make sure you can see that. There we go. Okay, last one, number 7. I've got x squared plus 7x minus 10. So x squared plus 7x minus 10. So this is x and x. I've got negative 110, 1 negative 10. I've got negative 2, 5, 2 negative 5. Let's take the sum. I've got 9, negative 9, 4, 3, and negative 3. Well, I'm looking for a positive 7. So this may happen if you've listed all the options, you've taken the sum, and none of these numbers match the middle number. That means it can't be factored. We had a problem like this in not the grouping method, but in the GCF method. If it can't be factored, it's prime. And that is the lesson on factoring trinomials.